For more on this, let's bring in Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise. Here's Karl Rove a little bit earlier in the show talking about this very race.
It's a reaction to the Biden administration in what has historically been Republican turf, but not by a huge margin in recent years. And yet to have that kind of a gap, to have, 62% of the people who turned out voting Republican and 37% voting Democrat, that says something about the relative enthusiasm of the base.
Congressman, as somebody who is working, as you are, to try to turn the Republicans back into power in 2022, is this a sign of things to come, do you think?
Yeah, Dana and Bill, good morning. What I see all across the country is dramatic enthusiasm for the Republican Party and a lot of really serious concern about the direction that the socialist Democrats are taking us, whether it's Nancy Pelosi's agenda. Now Biden has embraced that far left Bernie Sanders agenda. People don't want this to become a socialist nation, yet you see how far they're moving. And I think you saw Saturday, that was a reaction to that far left, trillions of dollars of spending, raising taxes to all under the name of infrastructure. That's not where America is. You saw Susan Wright, who was endorsed by President Trump, led the way. And what had been a swing district last year, today we've got 2 Republicans in that runoff. It tells you the country is rejecting socialism, and that's why we're going to win the House back next year.
Sir, Dana and I sit here every morning, and during the commercial, we have a lot of theories about a lot of things that's going on all over America and all over the world. And one thing
so do we.
I bet you do. One thing we're trying to guess at is what can pass if you're proposing 2.3 on one hand trillion and 1.8 trillion on another. Do you end up merging the bills? I mean, in a 50-50 Congress, where I think you'll have Democrats have a 3-seat majority after this Texas special election is decided. Well, what does pass?
Well, sanity would pass, and if they just dropped the word trillions from their lexicon and sat down with Republicans and says, how can we do something in a responsible way, not adding taxes or deficits, but actually working with Republicans and Democrats together to focus on infrastructure. And I mean roads, bridges, broadband, not unionized healthcare workers all under the name of infrastructure, or higher taxes on middle-class families, which is, by the way, what they would do. Does anybody really believe that if Bernie Sanders is the budget chairman in the Senate, that it's only the millionaires and billionaires that are going to pay more? It's going to affect every working family in America and make us less competitive as a nation. That's not what people want. We could get a bipartisan bill, but Nancy Pelosi has shut Republicans out of the process. And unfortunately, so has President Biden. It's time he fulfilled the promise he made as a candidate, saying he'd work with everybody. He's yet to do that.
Would they be allowed to take the 2 big bills, the American Spending Plan, or the American Jobs Plan is what they call it, sorry, and then the American Family Plan, would they be allowed to combine those into one bill and try to muscle it through while they still have the majority?
Well, you still have a 60-vote requirement for most things in the Senate. They're trying to shoehorn everything into budget reconciliation, but there are very severe limits on what budget reconciliation could be used for. And I think they're recognizing that. They're also recognizing that with a 3-vote majority currently, there are a lot of Democrats who don't want to walk the plank, who realize they're not going to get reelected voting for socialism. In fact, you already saw just on Friday, you saw 2 more Democrats announce they're going to retire from office because they know they can't win again.
I wanted to ask you about that. That was Sherry Bustos. She was the chair of the DCCC. She's in a district that Trump won in 2020. She has said that this will be her last term. She's going to move on. Do you think that you'll see more of that?
Oh, absolutely. You see right now in Pennsylvania, Connor Lamb's talking about running for the United States Senate because he knows in Pittsburgh they don't like the fact that he's voted for all this socialism. He's got an F rating with the National Right to Life. He said he was pro-life. Clearly he's not. That's catching up with a lot of these Democrats. Their voting record is not matching their districts, and people don't want socialism, and they can't stand up to Pelosi in the House. And so, they're going to, a lot of them won't be back. But some of them are starting to look in the mirror and go, maybe I'll just announce that I'll retire on my own terms as opposed to getting beat next year.
Ron Klain said yesterday, we're going to work with Republicans. We're going to find common ground. We will find out together whether that happens. Steve Scalise, thank you for your time.
Yeah, we're waiting for that phone call.
Have a great Monday. Good luck with your theories.
Thanks. Good luck with yours, too.
See you soon. Thank you. 20 minutes out before